Good morning. The screen froze after about 2 minutes of having started, so I had to restart. That's my apology for what happened. I'm not sure what happened actually. So here we are in Jerusalem on this marvelous morning. Beautiful, very fresh, nice chill in the air, wintry morning. Also a lot of cloud there that impeded the sun emerging. So here we are in Jerusalem. It's hard to see much with the foggy nature of the morning, with the way the light's hitting it right now here. So today we have challenging readings. Life is challenging at times, difficult. Also, it's about sometimes the harshness inside a family. Maybe in our times things have evolved quite a bit. As a child, we did hear stories of children being very severely physically punished by their parents, sometimes beaten, frequently beaten. It was not uncommon in the schools either as a means of discipline. And in that sense, there has been great progress in understanding better pedagogy. I'm very thankful that the Lord provided us with parents who knew how to educate us, to form us, to raise us through reasons and motivations, explanations, and the warmth of their hearts, encouragement. So we didn't have much experience of physical punishment at home. Very little, hardly any. And yet that reality is very common in many places still today. And sometimes the pendulum swings the other way, where parents don't take responsibility for educating their children. And so there's a lot of work to do in this area to help people to understand how to motivate, how people are best motivated and encouraged to do good, recognized for doing good, and therefore going to learn to repeat that more and more. And then not just to do good because of praise of others, but to do good because good is good and bad is bad. Hey, look at this crow here. Oh, just jumped down. Sometimes they fly more energetically away. It just went down to that little palm tree down there. We'll go to perch like another crow there in the building in front of us here, and this edge of it. We can draw in there closer. Here in the corner. As I was coming out on the roof, there was another bird that I had been very close to, but I hadn't noticed. And the bird did a wonderful flight off the roof. It was just delightful. The gliding through the air. And the letter to the Hebrews uses that imagery of parent using corporal punishment with their children, but doing it out of goodness. Sometimes parents could do it out of anger. If a child broke something that was valuable, if a child said a rebellious word that was hurtful, and a parent shouldn't do things out of anger, because there's no proportion between the strength of a parent and the strength of a child physically. And the letter to the Hebrews shows that if we perceive that God is punishing us, that it's only out of love. But I think we can take that a stretch further. And sometimes we over-attribute God's punishment, our events, to God's punishment. Here we have a crow right now, here. But if I focus too much in, then the bird will fly off the screen. So I need to. We know we have the crow there now. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, it just went down again. We didn't get much of a theater there, and that's over in the very corner. We can say that in God's providence things happen, and He's with us when things happen to us. And He is with us with grace. Like Paul was complaining about the thorn on his side, and he asked God to take it away. And the answer he heard in prayer was that God's grace was sufficient for him. God's grace was sufficient for him. God was accompanying him, giving him the strength to bear with the difficulty he had, which could have many causes and not directly a punishing cause by God. But God in His providence would allow that experience of need, of dissatisfaction, of frustration, maybe even of pain. We think of cancers, we think of illnesses of all kinds, think of tensions in relationships. People would come home, and home would hopefully be calm and serene and a place where I'm cherished, but maybe there are other attitudes happening in a given moment, that there are tensions, and sometimes people feel happier outside of home than at home, and that's very sad. But to discover that the Lord is there, and that a kind word can be spoken, and a smile can be offered, and a helpful deed can be done, a little bit of a mess can be cleaned up. And so then the relationships can be renewed and blessed. But when the relationships are hard, when the situation is hard and the frustrations are hard, we can also take that as something that shapes our soul. That we don't become envious or rebellious or vengeful, retaliating, returning harshness for harshness. Let's see if we got a flight here. They're all going down today. I wanted a different take. And then we have Jesus in Nazareth getting rejected by his own people. And that's hard. It's hard to be rejected. It's not nice to be rejected. It's very disappointing. it's painful when doors are closed, when people don't recognize you even though you have helped them before. They turn the cold shoulder, we say, a cold look, or a harsh word, or a harsh rebuttal, which is more about a rejection of the person than even of the idea or the thought or the suggestion, because of estrangement. And we need an inner strength and resilience to not play the victim, to not exploit being hurt with the victim mentality, to be liberated from victimhood. We see somebody like Agatha the martyr today, the way that girl, barely entering teenage years, and she's martyred with such valor. There's obviously also probably well telling of the story, but still there's a substance there that's extraordinary. I'm trying to remember the name of a book that somebody brought me about victimhood, and I can't remember it at this moment. It's a very good book. It's written by some, I think, evangelical writer in Chicago, I think. To be able to rise above that, to not to let people's offensiveness and hurting us bring us down. And there's the trust in God also counts a lot, because it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people think about us, in the sense if we're doing good, we're being honest, we're doing the right thing, we're taking care to minimize damage, to multiply good, then the only person I really have to answer to is God himself. On the other hand, I also need to be careful of what I say and how I do things that could be perceived in a bad way. There's a whole balance there, right? Life is complicated. But we see that Jesus isn't put down by the rejection. He knows how to deal with it. Sometimes we take the bad that people do to us in a very negative way, and we need to have compassion for those who do bad, because they hurt themselves more than they hurt us. They're in a poor situation. They need uplifting, they need inspiration, they need encouragement, they need to rethink and recalibrate in life. Oh, isn't this beautiful? The Lord's kindness is everlasting to those who fear him, to those who respect him, to those who venerate him, to those who give him his place. The Lord's kindness is everlasting. We needed that thought after these more duster thoughts we've had so far. People, God bless you. May the Lord's kindness be in your life everlasting. It's not turning for me. There we go. God bless you. See you later, alligators. Oh, I forgot to tell you, yesterday I was up on the roof here at the Lutheran Tower in the old city. I was blessed to be invited, or completely out of the blue, a lady director of the rabbinic school here in Jerusalem. She had seen the Facebook post and she said, wow, you're in Jerusalem. So she sent me an invitation to go to a conference, a study day shared between the rabbinic students and the Christian students from the school at the Dormition Abbey. German speakers, but the program was in English. And we had a wonderful day. I was only able to do half the day, but it was extraordinary. It was really beautiful to see all those people together. One of the topic was actually talking about the meaning of places of memory, holy places or secular places, and how they're interpreted and how they become places to understand history, to shape narratives, to even perform our lives, the theatre, the stage of our lives. Lots of good things happen all the time. One step at a time, one day at a time. God bless you. God bless your families. See you later, alligators.